Hi everyone, this is Ruan Paper, and it is time for another Currently Inked video. So for the month of March, I wanted to do something with spring colors, maybe even some Easter-ish colors, as in something light, bright, colorful. I used a lot of dark or icy colors over the winter, and I was really craving something a little brighter. And then I thought, how about I take some lovely illustrations from a tearaway calendar and use those as a sort of inspiration for a color palette. So I picked these two, which it's obviously a very spring-like scenery. There's cherry blossoms in both of the images. There's pink here, sort of almost dusty pink. It's not a very bright pink. There's some bright green. There's some touches of yellow, especially in the center of this flower. There's a little bit of blue in the back, and there's obviously the brown, greenish brown, I'd say, of the branches. So I first went through my inks and picked out a couple of inks that I wanted to use. I don't really have sort of a standardized method for picking my inks and my pens. Sometimes I'll start with a pen and then pick out the ink. Sometimes I'll start with a couple inks that I want to try and then see which pen that would go well with that. This time I picked the inks first, and I started actually with the pinkish color. And I was thinking that the Jinhao's Rouille d'encre would be a very nice fit. It's a bit darker, at least in the swatch, than this pink, but it does have those same sort of dusty pinkish qualities. And I think in writing it's a little bit lighter, and it's a really pretty pink, especially since I don't usually gravitate towards pinks. So I think if I picked something like really like hot pink, I wouldn't enjoy writing with that a lot. So I thought, okay, we have a pink, then I want something green, and the one that I've been wanting to try for a while, that I actually was gifted a bottle of a while back and haven't inked up a pen with before, is Pilot Iroshizuku Chikurin, which means bamboo forest. And I thought that's such a lovely bright spring green. Then I wanted something blue. And I found the blue quite hard to pick because a lot of the blues I have are really bright or like very desaturated, and I wanted something like in between. And then I remembered I have this sample bottle of the sample file of Robert Oster, Romeo and Juliet. It's a lovely lighter blue that's somewhere between a muted blue and a bright blue. It's neither very vibrant nor very muted. And I thought it was a lovely match with these two inks. This is actually a very interesting ink. It's a chromo shader that shades both to a darker blue and to a pink. Then I also wanted something brown, a nice brown that would go well with sort of the branches, and also to give me a darker ink to work with, because I really enjoy writing with dark inks. I like my darker grays, my blacks, my browns. And I picked this one, Jinhao's Lit d'été, to sort of balance out the more colorful side of the palette. And that left me with this yellow in the flower. And I really wanted to ink a pen up with a yellow ink, but we'll get to that later. But I did pick one out, and that is Jinhao. We are gonna have a Jinhao month, I think. It's Bouton d'Or. It's a buttercup, and it's probably the most yellow, brightish yellow ink I have. And this is gonna be our color palette. These 5 inks are the inks that I have inked up for the month of March, and I am so excited to start writing with these. I think it was a great idea to pick the inks based on the image, because now all of this just screams spring to me, which is, I don't know about you guys, but after months and months of grey, rainy weather, which is something that I absolutely adore. That is something that by the end of summer I am craving. Now I am really ready again for just sunlight, vitamin D, just anything colorful. I can't wait for the trees in our backyard to have leaves again. But enough of that. I'm back to the pens. Let's just keep these like somewhere that they're still in frame. Maybe these as well. So let's write down what I picked, and let's start with the pink one again. This is a platinum little meteor. I forgot what the color was called, unfortunately, but it's a platinum little meteor. It has a fine nib, and I've inked this one with the rouille d'encre. And I think this is a pretty neat match. Then the next one is this one. This is a Pilot 78G in the Tuscan green colorway. It also has a fine nib. I love Pilot fine nibs so much. And I've inked this one with the Pilot Iroshizuku Chikurin. I think it's a good match. The Chikurin is admittedly a bit brighter than this pen, but it's still a really good match. Then the next ink we have is the blue one, Robert Oster, Romeo and Juliet. And I have put that in this light blue Jinhao 82. And I have probably committed some sort of sin because this has an extra fine nib with which I am kind of letting all of that gorgeous chromo shading go to waste, because you really don't see much of the chromo shading with this extra fine nib. However, I picked it first and foremost because of its light blue color that I really like. And it goes so well with this pen. It's a lovely combination. And then we have the brown. This is a Jinhao 80, I think. It looks a lot like a Lamy 2000, but it has very, very different type nib. This is also an extra fine, and I've inked up this one with the J. Herbin Lit de Thé. And I already had this one inked up for a little while now, and I love how this writes. I've had a very mixed experience with Jinhao nibs, but this one has a really, really smooth nib, and I love how this one writes. And then last up, we have the yellow ink, and I have inked it up in this Pilot Kaküno, which has a medium nib, and I did that because I think that it's obviously it's a very light ink and it's not very legible, especially in a fine or extra fine. So I'm thinking I won't be journaling like entire pages with this anyway. So I inked up, like, I didn't fill it up completely. I only inked it up like up to like 1/3 of the converter. And I'm gonna try using this a bit more for headers, maybe some like little flower illustrations here and there, just to play around with yellow ink a bit without, feeling guilty if I don't write entire A5 pages with this by the end of the month. So yeah, let's just see how this, if I enjoy this or not. Like even now, if I'm writing this down, I can barely read what I'm writing, which is also in part because of the ghosting from the other page. I wonder if you can hear the sound of the pigeons on our roof. I think they might be making babies over there, and they are loud. All right, this is my currently inked for March. It's really colorful for me, and I am loving it so far. I am so excited to write with this every day and to try out some colors that, like a year ago, I didn't have a single yellow or pink ink in my collection. I was very much just using the colors, that I'm comfortable with, darker greens, darker orangey red colors, dark blues, browns, grays, blacks. And I'm really enjoying using different types of inks, lighter inks, brighter inks. And I feel like spring and summer are probably the seasons where I'm tempted the most to use these kind of inks. So that's what I will be doing. I am also currently selling some old stuff still from our attic. I'm just going through our stuff bit by bit. Like, for example, I still had a lot of Lego sets that were still sort of stored in my old room at my parents' house. But when we bought this house 2 years ago, my parents were like, we're not gonna keep all of this stuff forever. Like, you have enough room now to store this yourself. So here's all of your old stuff. And that's obviously a good thing. And it's been really fun just going through all of that old stuff and seeing like other things that I want to keep, other things that I'm just going to give away, or other still things that I can sell. And that's been especially fun because that's a new source of funding for like a new fountain pen. And I'm already sort of eyeing like a couple pens that I would really, really want to buy somewhere in like this year. So I feel like this will also be the year where I don't just like try out new inks and just have fun with the pens that I have, but also get a little bit more into, at least for me, like what's more like a next level pen. So yeah, that was a whole other tangent, but maybe there will be a new pen day at some point in the future. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I would love to see it if some of you have also picked your pens or your inks based on a photo, an image, like something that inspired you. I know that a lot of people name their color palette afterwards, but I would love to know, did you ever like pick a random image and say, I'm gonna build a color palette around this? Or do you just like ink up your pens with inks that you'll enjoy, or that you've been wanting to try out? I'd love to hear it. Thank you for watching, and we will continue next week with the ink exploration videos, where we will be starting with the green inks, which is probably one of my favorite colors. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And for now, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. See you. Bye.